Let me start a truth I have witnessed firsthand. For 25 years, I stood behind salon chair. Women trusted me not only with their hair, but with their hearts. I listened to stories of marriages and divorces. I listened to dreams realized and dreams deferred. And I witnessed joy and heartbreaks. And during those years, I showed up every single day for my clients, making sure they feel beautiful, supported, and truly seen. But one day I looked in the mirror and I realized I was empty and something was missing. And here is what I know. I know that I am not alone. You don't have to be a hairdresser to understand this. You might be a mother, a teacher, a caregiver, or a leader, and you have probably felt that same silent weight of giving too much while slowly losing yourself in the process. Audre Lorde said it so well. Caring for yourself is not self-indulgence. It is self-preservation, and that is an act of political warfare. And if that speaks to you, stay with me, because in this video, I'm going to share why this happens, the hidden cost of always putting others first, and most importantly, how you can finally break free and claim yourself. Because together we are going to explore how to stop running on empty and how to put yourself back at the center of your life. And you will be able to reclaim your energy and feel fully seen, heard, and alive. And the best part is that you can do this without guilt, without burnout, and without losing yourself along the way. Here's the truth. Breaking free from this silent struggle isn't about doing more, trying harder, or fixing yourself. It is about learning to truly listen to what your body, your heart, and your soul have been quietly asking for all along. And before we move forward, let me share this beautiful reminder from Carl Jung. The world will ask you who you are, and if you don't know, the world will tell you. Now, let's begin, and let's start with my personal story. So for years, I loved being a hairdresser. I loved connecting with people, making them feel beautiful, seen, and cared for. But deep down, I felt a longing, and I could not ignore a dream that was quietly calling me. I wanted to devote myself fully to coaching, to help women break free from the heavy burden of life, and to guide them back to their own strength, their own joy, and their own power. I dreamed of life where I could travel the world, meet women from all walks of life, and help them step into freedom and fulfillment. And here is the truth. While I was working behind the chairs, giving so much to my clients, I knew I was not living my dream. And I was not honoring the path I was here to walk. I felt fulfillment in small moments, but there was always a quiet voice reminding me that my soul wanted more and that I was meant for something bigger. And that longing became impossible to ignore. It was the voice inside me saying, it is time to stop giving yourself away to everything else and start saying yes to the life you truly want. And this isn't just my story. It is the reality of so many women. We live in a world that constantly tells us your value is in what you do for others. From the time we were little girls, we were praised by being helpful, kind, and selfless. And while those are beautiful qualities, they can also become chains when they are the only way we measure our worth. We become caretakers, providers, healers, problem solvers, always on for everyone else. And little by little, we stop listening to ourselves. And I'm sure there is someone listening right now who knows exactly what I mean. Maybe you have felt the tension of saying yes when every part of you wants to say no. Pushing through exhaustion because someone else needs you, or putting your own dreams on hold so you could hold everything together for everyone else. And this is not coming from judgment, but from my own experience. And I used to live this kind of life. You know, at first it feels manageable, even fulfilling, but over time, the cost becomes too high. The cost is your energy, the cost is your joy, the cost is your connection to yourself. There is one quote that describes this perfectly. You cannot pour from empty cup. And yet, so many of us keep trying, thinking that if we just push harder, do more, give more, it will finally feel enough. But it does not. Instead, it leaves us depleted, exhausted, and disconnected from our own essence. Another saying I really love is, when you say yes to others, make sure you're not saying no to yourself. Because every yes that goes against our truth is really a no to our soul. So how do we break free from this cycle? Step 1, awareness. It starts with awareness. Everything begins with awareness. Before you can change anything, you need to see what is really happening in your life. So start noticing the patterns and start asking yourself, do I feel guilty when I take time for myself? Do I feel restless or anxious when I am not doing something for someone else? Do I overextend my energy because I feel responsible for everyone else's happiness? Do I find myself exhausted yet still thinking I'm not doing enough? Awareness isn't about judging yourself or feeling ashamed. It is about turning in, and it is about paying attention to the small whispers your body, mind, and heart are sending. Because that tightness in your chest, the fatigue you feel, or the irritation, the quiet longing for rest, these are signs that something needs to change. And when you truly notice those patterns, you give yourself the power to step out of autopilot. So awareness is the first step towards reclaiming your energy, reconnecting with your essence, and finally begin to say yes to yourself. Because here's the truth: you cannot change what you don't foresee, and you cannot care for yourself if you are not aware that you are running on empty. Awareness is the light that guides you back to yourself. And that brings me to step number 2. Step 2, boundaries, the true cost of doing it all. Awareness is the first step, seeing clearly the way you have been running on empty. But awareness alone isn't enough. The second step is realizing that boundaries must be placed, because without boundaries, awareness quickly turns into frustration. You see the patterns, but you still feel trapped in them. And boundaries are what transform awareness into action. They are the bridge between knowing better and living differently. And here's the truth: boundaries are not barriers or walls that shut people out, but they are sacred agreements that keep you aligned with yourself. They are the clear, loving lines that protect your time, your energy, and your well-being. So start asking yourself, where in my life am I saying yes, where my whole body is whispering no? What people, tasks, or habits constantly drain me instead of nourishing me? And the hardest question of all is, how often do I betray myself just to keep the peace? Every time you abandon your needs in the name of pleasing others, you chip away of yourself. The cost of doing it all for everyone else doesn't just show up as tiredness, it becomes a slow unraveling of who you are. It shows up as more than fatigue. It is that bone-deep exhaustion that lingers even after sleep. It is the racing thoughts at 2 a.m. replaying 1,000 unfinished tasks. It is the heavy chest, the restless body, the quiet itch that tells you you are carrying too much. But the greatest danger isn't the physical tool. It is something I call identity erosion. It does not happen overnight. It is quiet, subtle, and bit by bit, your passions, your creativity, your spark fade under the constant pull of everyone else's needs. At first, it is just dullness, then a numbness, and one morning you catch yourself looking in the mirror and barely recognizing yourself. So the question is, where is the woman who used to dream, who used to love freely, who used to trust her own yes and her own no's. This is the hidden cost of living without boundaries. You lose yourself in an endless performance of being everything to everyone. And the more drained you feel, the harder you push. The harder you push, the further you drift from your essence. Until one day, if nothing changes, the life you are living feels like a stranger, and the woman you are once were become just a memory. And this is why boundaries matters. Boundaries are not selfish, they are self-preservation. Every time you say no to what depletes you, you are saying yes to your own life. Every time you protect your energy, you are sending yourself a powerful message. I matter, my time matters, my joy matters. And the more you honor those boundaries, the stronger you will feel. Strength won't come from pushing harder or doing more. It will come from the quiet liberation of choosing yourself. With every no that honors your truth, you create more space for freedom, lightness, and alignment in your everyday life. Because boundaries are not restrictions, they are reclamation. They are the doorway back to yourself. They are the line between living half alive and rising fully into your wholeness. And this brings me to part number 3. Step 3. The real path to happiness is the path to self-nourishment. The way out is not in doing more. It is not a new planner, a color-coded schedule, or yet another productive hack. Those things only keep you running faster on a treadmill that is already burning you out. The real path begins in an exact opposite direction. It's about slowing down, turning inward, and choosing yourself again. This is what I call the sacred work, the inner work. And let me be clear, this is not an act of being selfish. It is not about indulging yourself, but it is survival. It is the act of remembering that you are not here merely to hold the world together for everyone else. You're here to live a life that lights you up, that nourishes your soul, and that reflects your true self. Because once you have created space with boundaries, you must also fill that space with what restores you. Self-nourishment is not luxury, it is fuel. It is how you rebuild yourself from the inside out. It can be as simple as journaling to reconnect with your truth and untangle the threads of your own desires from the expectation of others. Moving your body in ways that feel alive and joyful and not forced. Taking walks in nature where your nervous system can breathe. Giving yourself permission to rest without guilt. Or creating small rituals like tea ceremony, meditation, breath work that reminds you daily, I matter and I'm worth of this space. When you consistently nourishing yourself, something shifts. You stop giving from emptiness and start giving from overflow. Your energy returns, your spark reignites, your voice grows stronger. Your choices begin to reflect what you truly want and not just what is expected from you. Because we know true happiness was never meant to be hunted outside of us. And that means that true happiness cannot be found in another promotion, another compliment, or another achievement, or even in approval of others. True happiness is rebuilt from within. It creates when you remember who you are and you can honor your needs and then finally allow yourself to be whole, complete, and unapologetically alive. And the best part is the inner freedom does not just benefit you, but it radiance outward. The more you reclaim yourself, the more you can show up fully for others and for yourself. This is the real gift of inner work. It heals, it restores, it transforms not just your life, but the very way you experience being alive. Now, if you're listening to this and thinking, yes, that's me, I want you to know you are not alone. Inner work isn't about adding one more thing to your already full list. It is about reclaiming your energy, your joy, and most importantly, yourself. And remember, the world will always demand more from you, but true strength lies in on how much you can carry, but it is about recognizing what is no longer supporting you to be fully connected to your wisdom and your happiness. And if this is resonating, please subscribe and join our community. Share what is your inner voice guiding you to do and take a step closer to live your true dream. Thank you for being here. Be gentle with yourself, and I will see you in the next video.